Hello YouTubers, this is Optimus Frank and welcome back to the channel. If you like the content on this channel, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. Also hit that bell for notifications of future content from this channel. Let's begin. I'll be reviewing Wolfers Cybertron Trilogy Earthrise Deluxe Class Wheeljack, and there's very little that is negative about him. So let's just get those little things out of the way. I may have mentioned it before in a past review, but Wheeljack deserves blue light piping. I remember saying it before the Netflix Siege debut, and then when I saw his cheeks, I think it was the following weekend, I saw his cheeks glow blue in the show. I was yelling at the screen like, see, I told you! And, for good measure, here is, it's nothing that hasn't been invented before. Here's Voyager Springer IDW. Let me turn this light off so you get a better look. There's his light piping. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, Wheeljack, being a Hall of Famer Transformer, I think key of all, I can't think of any other Autobot or Transformer who doesn't deserve light piping. But yeah, it looks great on Springer, and it would look great on Wheeljack, especially. Like I said, and if you watch the show, let me get this light back on. His cheeks turn blue along with his eyes. So I think that would have been awesome to see it in Earthrise of all editions of Wheeljack. Especially since he played such a big role in the show. But I've always wanted a Wheeljack, I guess I've always wanted all of Transformers. But in any case, especially wanted a Wheeljack. He was the main engineer, inventor since the very beginning. And one more thing, Wheeljack was one of the few Transformers who had a Cybertronian alternate mode. There was Bumblebee who had it, the Seekers had, the Seekers had that Cybertronian alternate mode, and for Siege, this past Siege on Netflix, they pulled off at least the Seekers. I never thought they'd do it so well, but I mean they did an all right Cybertronian alternate modes for the Seekers. It was doable, it still looked good. And I think Hasbro at any time could make lots of money if they give Wheeljack a Cybertronian alternate mode. I mean, they already have one already. It's not like it hasn't been invented. They just have to put forth the engineering to make it possible. And this probably explains why Wheeljack was a major character in the Netflix Siege show, but was made an Earthrise toy. I mean, he can't be on Cybertron looking like an Earth car. I mean, am I wrong? Is there a Cybertronian version of Wheeljack out there? Let me know in the comments. He has a nice head sculpt. It's spot on with the detail. There is no light piping, but still, the rest of it is pretty good. He has detail all over. And, his detail in particular, you'll see he has detail in both modes. I like the details they have here and his upper legs, the black region here. And he has some, wherever it's uncovered, wherever his alternate mode covers, there is detail. But, those spots that his alternate mode does cover up has that detail. So his alternate mode is pretty good at hiding the Cybertronian in him. Even the back here. There's even detail under his back and on the side. Right there. So I did a pretty good job with his mold. One thing I don't like too much are his fists, but it's not too bad. It's easy to overlook, but he has these this kibble here around his fists and kind of don't make it doesn't look like fists really. But I do like how he's one of the very few Autobots I have where the wheel is actually on the bottom. Usually it's at the side like this. Excuse me. His wheel is on the side like this of the arm, but when you bend it like that, that's how it's supposed to go. The wheel is in the bottom. I don't know. It may mean nothing to a lot of you, but it's different. It's a different look. He has a nice little paint job here. The Autobot symbol right there. And yeah, his articulation is pretty standard. He can bend his elbows and his knees at a 90 degree. He can rotate the hips pretty well at a 360. His shoulder, he has that shoulder rotation there. His little block is not as smooth, especially when this little back panel conflicts with this. It's not as smooth. I've seen smoother bots with better shoulder rotation. His wrists do rotate which is good. So there's his bicep. There's rotation there on the bicep, but it doesn't rotate all the way, and it's a part of his transformation. It tends to, when you do that, it's supposed to fit smoothly in with the side of the car. But so it rotates a little less than 360, so it doesn't go all the way around. He has an ankle tilt. His thighs also rotated at 360. Yeah, he has an ankle right there. He can do a high kick, splits, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, he also has that extra plastic in the back to give him base when he doesn't fall back. You know, he has enough base to stand on his own, no problem. Doesn't lean back or anything. Perhaps when you put weight on here, like with Ironworks or another weaponizer, yes, he probably does lean back a little bit, but it's still possible. He stands up pretty good, especially with these big feet here. But yeah, they did a pretty good job with his articulation and everything. So let's look at his weapon before we move on. His weapon is interesting because you can put it in a few ways. He can put it in, it seems like a tool, not just a weapon, you know? Seems like it doubles as both. So yeah, you can fit it in a peg in his wrist there, but it also has this little peg here where you can put it on his shoulder. And what I also find interesting, you can just put it right here, like I had it in the beginning of the video, but what I also find interesting is that you can also put it on the tip of another gun or something. There's this little cavity here. Perhaps maybe if you have some sort of effects here, some blast effects, you can now make it into some sort of a blowtorch, you know, so or a weapon, you know, so here's another way, you know. So I mean, it isn't a big gun, but then again, you know, he's more the brains of the Autobots, not the muscle. So yeah, they give him something versatile that can perhaps, it looks like a tool, more than a tool than anything, but it could double as a weapon. So yeah, I think it's a good addition. But you know, it does replace that rocket that he's traditionally seen with this big rockets on his right shoulder. But you know, it is pretty neat. You know, it's not a bad piece. It is different though. So to get him in this robot mode, first things first, we take off the weapon, and then you're going to want to take his legs or split them back. So this pulls out like that, and it goes up. But when you do that, be careful, because these little pieces of windshield, they have to go on top of the green. Remember, like I said earlier, that all of his Cybertronian molding is covered in this transformation, which is so Earthrise, you know. So just like I'm doing here on the other side, I'm carefully, so this little panel doesn't fall out like this. It comes out super easy. So I just plug that back in. And there, that's how it's supposed to go. Bring the toes, fold them back like this. And then you snap the legs together like so. Just like that. You can even push it down to make sure that there's less gappage here in the front hood. So next thing you do, you want to take this panel here, his little chest, and you fold it down like this. Snap it in. Now what's interesting about his torso or his waist is that it bends at 2 points, or it rotates at 2 points. So it's something about his articulation is different, but you only see it in his transformation. So yeah, like I showed you in the earlier, that he has the regular waist articulation, but when you transform it, he has this articulation because it's like slightly above, like right below the chest, and you need that in order to turn him around like this. Okay, so make sure everything's snapped in place like that. Now you can work on the top. So take his head, push it in. Then you want to take the shoulders. Now you see these little holes here? This side I broke accidentally. It's this tiny little peg that goes right into there. But let me do this side first so you can see what I mean. So it goes in and it's right, let me fold these back so you can get a better look at it. It's this little peg right here where my nail is. See that? And that'll go right into that hole. So you fold it in and you plug it in just like that. All right, and then you do the same for the other side. There you go. Next step, you want to rotate his forearm and his wrist, and this all snaps into place, just like that. And I love how seamless this spot is when it comes to his alternate mode. It's very little. It looks seamless. If everything fits so well together, really. Some of these seams you don't even notice. But that is it. Give it a good push just to make sure it's all nice and tight. The back here is tight too. That's also a good indicator that you did a good job transforming him. And here's his alternate mode. He's a nice little race car. Fancy schmancy. He transforms into this beautiful race car. Everything fits nicely. I mean, you do see some lines, but it's pretty. Everything's pretty tight. The Cybertronian detail is well hidden. It's only visible on the bottom, but this is where it matters. It is Earthrise. The paint goes proper. The paint is properly placed. The orange rims contrast well with the black tires. The red and green stripes are beautifully placed. They go from the front all the way to decorate the back region of the car. He also has these fictional sponsors here on the side, and this cute little Autobot symbol right there on this side and on this side. But yeah, his gun goes right up here. And you can also decorate. If you have any blast effects, you can damage. You can insert that right there to make it go faster. You can even, if you have the extra blast damage, why not decorate the back of his weapon? Very versatile weapon, but yeah, it's not a bad look. Now, I do have weaponizer that I like to hook him up to, but you know what? I'm going to save that for the next video that I have already written out. So without further ado, let's get him back into his robot mode. It's super simple. Let's take out his gun right here. That aside. Let's go backwards. You can take this, move it back like that. Take his arms out, pry them off. They unsnap right here. They're in that tight. And you can take his arms, pull them down. Just like everything I did in reverse. You take that. And what do? You turn it around. Then you can take the windshield and make sure that it fits right into this peg here. That little peg. That's going to go under the windshield as soon as you pry it off. And you just place it back in there. It's very satisfying to put it back in for some reason. So take apart the legs. And you want to try, here's a challenge, to try to put this back the way it was without, you want to push this back in without getting those little pieces of the windshield to fall out. Bring his leg out. One side, success. Next. Oh, I failed. In any case, let's put it back in. Not going to start this clip again, so just know it comes out easy. Goes in easy too. So, there you go. You fix his wrists. There. Turn the wrists here like that. Same thing on this side. And there you have it. He's back into his robot mode. And his weapon can also go in his shoulder mode. I prefer this side than that side because you have this little peg here sticking out. So, here he is. So this has been my review of War for Cybertron Trilogy Deluxe Class Wheeljack. If you like this review, don't forget to give it a like. To help this channel grow, please subscribe and click the bell for future notifications of future content from this channel. This is Optimus Frank. Thanks for watching, and till next time, till all are one.